Good morning, everyone. So, beautiful prayer, and I wanted to focus as well. Damien read that passage from, these are the hidden powers of the Bible from Ernest Holmes, some of his interpretations. But there's a paragraph here, and I'll refer back to it, that I particularly want to focus this 9 o'clock talk on. And I want to start by telling you the idea that money is God in action. As Raymond Charles Barker coined that, and I believe he was the author of that statement. And when I was researching for this talk this morning, my attention went to how many ways our money is serving the world. And what is this concept of money and God in action? And so I referred to prosperity from a metaphysical interpretation of that word, and I was particularly appreciated this idea, this metaphysical interpretation. The consciousness that divine mind is inexhaustible support and supply. The difference, this is the part, the difference between spiritual prosperity and the material idea of prosperity is that spiritual prosperity is founded on understanding of the inexhaustible, omnipresent substance of spirit as the source of supply. But the material idea is that the possession of things constitutes prosperity. Man lays hold of the one substance with his mind through understanding and faith. So this idea of a material prosperity, and then I was led into the idea of where the sense of our self gets divided, right? Sometimes we're divided in our consciousness about our giving and our money and our source and the not enough and the what ifs. And so when we move into a place of fear at all around any issue that has to do with our good in the form of money, as we're talking about throughout this month in the idea of giving, if there's fear with that, as I spoke a couple of weeks ago, go in deep and try to find the seeds of that, to release that fear, to release it in such a way that you're set free. You're totally set free. And you're back into the idea of this spiritual, divine, inexhaustible support, this omniscience, this omnipresent source of good, flowing effortlessly, this substance into your experience. So earlier this week, I had the opportunity to do some gratitude work at a meditation on Tuesday night. We focus on some of the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. And in preparing for that, I came across this, and maybe some of you have heard of this, but the story of Steve Jobs. Do you know who Steve Jobs is? Okay, and his relationship to Yogananda, did you know that? I did not. As much as Yogananda is one of my beloved teachers, I had never heard this story, but here it is for you. The secret to greatness. Yogananda became a silent force in the life of one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time. Steve Jobs, when he passed away, had planned every detail of his own memorial service held at Stanford University, and this was back in October of 2011. And this included the brown box that each attendee had received as a farewell gift. One of the attendees in this article was recounting his feelings at the moment that he opened up this box. "This is going to be good," he recalled. "I knew that this was a decision Steve had made, and whatever it was the last thing he wanted us to all think about." Well, the box contained the autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. This is a book on self-realization. Steve gave to others at the moment of his passing that gift. His gift was to offer everybody the opportunity to actualize yourself. What a gift. A man that had so much prosperity and abundance recognized intuitively that this was the greatest gift. to offer another person the teaching, the resources. And I'm so touched by your story, Kim, by your authenticity, your honesty, the rawness of your story, to choose your health over financial worry and all of that. It wasn't easy. I knew you through those days. But the power of that, the power of what it created in you, and all through that time, she continued to serve others. She was always serving others. And that's part of the story as well, is how can you give back? This idea of actualizing yourself. So think about that. Think about where, as we've been sharing this whole month, where does money separate you out from this greater good, from this global community that we live and serve? Where does it separate you from humanity and its suffering? And where are you finding a bridge back into your heart to recognize that you have an important service to do? Now, going back to Steve Jobs, he was a very spiritual person who relied on his intuition and asked us all to look at the world from the inside out, to not be so influenced by the out coming in, to seek a life of inner transformation, to take that deep dive inward. Steve Jobs had a self-professed hunger to make a dent in the universe. He encountered the book as a teenager, and it was the only downloaded book on his iPad. And he made a point to read it once a year. Now, I've read the autobiography one time, kind of, skipping parts that I didn't understand, and then I went back when I was having my first child, and I read it from cover to cover. And so that influence of reading that during my pregnancy, I feel has really made a profound difference in who my son is today. He is a very deep and spiritual man. His father influenced him that way as well, as did I. We both get credit for that. But I believe that when I was reading such a resource of valuable truth and really taking it into my dreams and into my longing for my firstborn, it made a difference. It influenced him. And in that hunger for me to have a spiritual child, so be it. So is Chris. So as I appreciated this, I went on to look at some of Yogananda's thoughts about abundance and prosperity. And he shares these ideas. Those who seek prosperity for themselves alone are in the end bound to become poor. So if you're doing what you're doing in your world only for yourself, you're bound to become poor or to suffer from mental inharmony, from a mental state of what else is there? You'll always be chasing a dream of sorts. But those who consider the whole world as their home and who really care and work for a group or world prosperity find their individual prosperity that is legitimately theirs. They can take ownership of that. He goes, this is the sure and secret law. Every day he advises us to do good to help others, even if it's only a small pittance. Even if you think it's insignificant in that moment, if you want to love God, you must love people. That is the spiritual thread through every teaching. All people are the children of the one. And you can be helpful materially by giving to the needy and the mentally, by giving comfort to the sorrowful, courage to the fearful, divine friendship and moral support to the weak. Those are Yogananda's words. You can also sow seeds of goodness when you interest others in God and cultivate in them a greater love for God, a deeper faith in Him. When you leave this world, material riches will be left behind, but every good that you have done will go with you. That's true prosperity. Can you feel that in your own soul? As you reflect, I'm talking about the soul of money and that soul of prosperity and that soul of the goodness. This is money in action. This is what this church is, the center is teaching in every class, in every lesson, in every time we receive the offertory. We're again and again imprinting this message into our hearts, that it is in giving that we receive. And what do we receive? That holy blessing of doing right for the world and making a difference. To recognize that Reverend Mary and I spend hours of our time researching how we can make the center better. What else can we offer? And we align with the other practitioners and the other ministers and the board and the leadership team, and we say, what else? What else will make this place shine? How else can we reach out and touch hearts and to recognize the truth that this teaching is so strong in leading people back to knowing their own true nature and the power of their own thoughts and the difference that they can make in the world? What else can we do? That is how we're putting your money into action, out into our community. That's what this intentional giving program has been all about your support so that you can take ownership of all of this yourself, that you did this for the community, that this is your center and you own it. So those who give and share, whether they have much or little, will always attract prosperity. And recognize prosperity is not limited, as we know. We're not lame. We know that it's not just about money, but we recognize prosperity in our friends, in our fellowship, in the good out in the world, in the beauty that we see. That's the law of God. Think of divine abundance as mighty, as a refreshing rain. Whatever receptacle you have at hand will receive it. And this is Yogananda's wisdom, but it's also exactly what Ernest Holmes said. What is the receptacle that you take to receive this good? If you hold up a tin cup, you'll receive that quantity. If you hold up a bowl, that will be filled. What kind of receptacle are you holding up to divine abundance? So question yourself, what am I holding up? Perhaps your vessel is defective. If it is, it should be repaired. And how do you repair a defective vessel? You cast away all fear, all hate, all doubt and envy, and you feel it cleansed by the purifying waters of peace, tranquility, devotion, and love. You go to the soul qualities. Every book that I have read on prosperity, and one of the things that Reverend Mary and I are going to team up together this summer is to offer you back the best of the wisest teachers in relationship to prosperity, so that we all have the tools, we all have the gifts, and we can move forward and just really be setting ourselves free into that knowing of giving and truly recognizing what this idea of divine abundance is. We're going to give to the world the best that we have, and knowing that's what comes back to us. Divine abundance follows the law of service and generosity. It's been told to you again and again, give and you will receive. So this idea, repairing the vessel, a few weeks ago when we really looked deeply into that idea of what's in the way of your giving, to recognize you can't just put a little happy affirmation like a Band-Aid over what's deep in your soul, that you need to do the work to go in there deep and to repair what is defective within you. What false idea have you latched onto that you continue to allow it to separate you from your wholeness? You see, if you're divided in any way, the truest principle of the divine is that you are whole, that you are complete, just as you are. So if you're receptible of this divine knowing is separated in any way, and you have any kind of anguish in your heart at all of this separation, there is your work to do, to purge that doubt, to purge that fear, and to give to the world the best that you have, the best that you have. So the invitation from this message today is for you to embrace your wholeness. Where you are divided, see where your work is to be done at the soul level, at the soul level. The soul is what goes with you always. That divine knowing, that depth of your true nature goes with you always. We're often, all of us on the spiritual path, struggling often to reconcile any contradiction to truth between embracing wholeness and material abundance. You might start feeling it as, I felt a little bit like, because I was traveling, I thought, oh my God, it's Black Friday, and I've never shot Black Friday, but the pressure of all the media was like, you're not getting the best deal. I'm not going to get whatever I don't know I don't want. But I was like starting to feel the pressure of that. Just I'm thinking, oh, I'm buying into this thing. And Charlie comes home last night. He went to do an errand, and he went to Best Buy, and he goes, oh my God, they got a TV that we would want. And it's like way bigger than our living room. And so the measuring tape's out, and he's going, wow, just today it's $400 off. And I'm going, wow, go get it. I didn't even want one, but go get it, I think we got to do something. It's Black something. We got to go buy something. And but he's such a good steward of money. He went to Consumer Reports, and it wasn't a very good one. So Best Buy. But it's funny how the media, all of a sudden we're like, I need something bigger, perhaps. It's way bigger, but will it make me happy? I don't know. So it's this idea, where does this material idea interfere? This was in the middle of me trying to prepare a talk. All of a sudden I'm thinking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, honey, go get it, whatever you want. You go get this. But I appreciated his recognizing, well, what's really at stake here? So there's this message from David Simon. He's a doctor that was a close friend of Deepak Chopra. And I went and heard a seminar one time about living your heart down in San Diego at the institute down there, and I just loved this man. He passed away from cancer too early in life. But he tells this idea that abundance is derived from the Latin word undare, which means rising in waves. I thought this was interesting. The essence of abundance is like the ocean of life, rising in waves of love, energy, and enthusiasm. Be aware of your connection to the creative source of the universe to enjoy. Ride those waves. See the natural abundance around you in the stars and in the sands, in the weather patterns. We all have enough resources, but we witness the conflict in the consciousness of man in regards to our abundance. Then we're seeing a discrepancy in the poverty and the suffering that we see when there's poverty and there's wealth. And we start seeing this duality. We think, but that's real too. But it's a false illusion to us when we recognize there is this abundance, and as we step into that stream and we ride those waves, there is the idea that we can override that fear that is trying to encompass us and to cause us this doubt and this fear. We're being invited to ride those waves. There's this beautiful story that he shares in his book, and some of you have heard this story before. But where is it? Here it is. I recently came across this illustrative story. A rich man was fishing next to his mansion on a lake when a poor man, using only a stick and a string, sat down about 50 yards away. Within an hour, the poor man caught 2 fish and went home. This same scene repeated day after day for 2 years until finally the rich man approached the poor man saying, "Hey, buddy, I've been watching you and considering your situation. If I were you, I'd fish a couple more hours each day and sell the additional fish in the marketplace. After 6 months, you could earn enough money to buy a small boat and new fishing equipment. Soon, you will earn enough money to start a real business. Then you could hire other people to fish for you, and then you could do anything you wanted for as long as you want." The poor man thought about this for a moment and then replied, "To tell you the truth, sir, that is exactly how I'm living my life right now." And I just thought, that is the tease of prosperity and wealth. What will we gain if we had more? And this idea of knowing what is exactly right and perfect for each and every one of us as we dwell within that comfort of knowing what is really the soul values, that is what I'm inviting you to really probe this week. What are my soul values? Where can I be the hero in really knowing what my soul values are and aligning with that, and knowing that anything less than that, anything that pinches that conduit of grace in my life, is where my work is set for me to accomplish. So this idea from the reading that Damien shared, when a man's thought rests entirely upon himself, he becomes abnormal and unhappy. And when he gives himself with enthusiasm to any legitimate purpose, losing himself in that thing which he is doing, he becomes normal and happy. It's nothing to do about money, but really investing yourself. That's what we call Save a here. That's why we mention it. We invite you to the Save a Day to partake in the community of building this center and letting its light shine brightly as a beacon for the community. This is the invitation as we continue this intentional giving program. We want to recognize that this wholeness that I speak of is a state of mind. What are your true values? What are your true values? What are they? Take time to journal that for yourself. If you believe, then you will be confident. If you believe in this source of good, in this idea of the spiritual abundance forever flowing, your basic needs will always be met, your basic needs, and then all else is added on to you, and it's all grace-filled. The inner value will be independent of anything that comes from the outer world. Bless your good. Watch your good as it comes. Watch it as it goes. As you pay your debts, bless what has come your way that allows you to continue on and to thrive, but bless and not curse the monies that you owe. Bless your money and you bless your wealth. And then by doing so, you're receiving with such grace, and you're staying in that cycle of giving and receiving without any compromise, without any fear. Go again to the true values of your soul. If you know that, and if you can abide in your own heart and recognize that, and you share your time and talent and your treasure from that place, you're setting yourself free, and your intentions in everything that you long for in life, you're setting yourself free onto the creative process of the law, of that spiritual law. And as you align your beliefs, this truth is revealed. Don't be afraid to ask for what you desire. Be clear and then be receptive. Be clear and be receptive. Share your heart with the divine. Be receptive to receive. Watch carefully and become conscious of your judgments, your resentments, any envy, any finger pointing, especially now as the news media continues to reinforce the duality that we face out in our political culture. Stay centered on the divine, on the one truth, on the one law, on the one resource that you really always will have, that divine good flowing. And watch how in any way that you think, it's okay if I take this pencil from work. They didn't need it. It was getting don't take anything that's not yours. Just in all the small ways, clean everything up, and allow that conduit, that channel to your soul to be so pristine that you cannot help but constantly feel the miracle and the blessing of the good put upon you. Bless your bills, bless the good, bless it all. And feel also as you commit to this consciousness, this is the consciousness of abundance. That's what we're speaking to this whole month. Be grateful. Keep doing that inventory of what's good in your life. Looking at the challenges, they're going to be there. They'll appear. But bring abundance to even that. Ride those waves. Watch things shift. Nothing stays stuck. It's up to you to make peace with your financial past. Don't censor anything. Go back, look inside your past, and what needs to make amends, make it. If you stole some pencils from work, drop some off at a school. However you can find a way to balance and to come back into harmony. to keep abundance flowing. Clear the clutter in your consciousness. So when you also can question yourself, and Dr. Simon also says, continue to question yourself, why am I here? Why am I here? Don't be complacent with just, oh, it's Sunday and it's church day. Why am I here? And on Monday, when you wake up, why am I here? Try to recognize the concerns that you're carrying in your heart and the way that you're accumulating both debt and possession. Where is your financial freedom? Where is that going to be? And what can you do that will bring you this freedom? What would you be doing different than what you're doing right now? This is key to the abundance. I want you to look deeply in your heart. Close your eyes and just kind of think, as you look into your heart, what's my purpose of being here? Am I truly energizing spiritually what I am doing with deep purpose? Are others being supported as I align myself with the natural state of abundant consciousness? Am I hoarding or unconsciously stealing? Am I afraid? Am I afraid at all? What am I doing here? My resource is the divine. My resource is spiritual truth. And I hold that truth to the depth of my soul, to the depth of my soul. And I give it my one-pointed intentions. I give it my unwavering focus. So, in that reflection, what comes easily to you? What has God given to you? What talent do you hold? What unique quality characterizes you? What do you feel passionate about? What do you do that gives rather than depletes the energy around you? I know my friend Joanne many years ago heard this message and took it to heart, and she went out and started raising bees for the world. A simple act, a conscious act, an act that took her into many years of study, but she provides many of us the abundance of honey and this pure golden syrup. And it reminds me of Catherine Ponders. I love her work too in prosperity. She said, there's gold dust in the air, and you have the right. You have the right to harvest that gold dust, to harvest that good that's out there. And that I think of that with the golden honey. As she gives to the bees, they give back to her this harvest of gold. And there's gold dust in the air. And it's for each of us to tap into that substance that is God's giving to us in every way. So what do you feel passionate about, and what do you do that gives rather than depletes your energy, and what brings you joy and what brings you enthusiasm? What do you engage in that time loses its hold on you? Okay, you've all got that, those moments where God, I just got on the inner. Reverend Mary, she's just gets so into her writing, and she doesn't just hold it and think into a journal. She sends it out, this great message out into, and not just the Reading newspaper. Now she's gone to, what is it? The Wall Street Journal. Hello. She's not thinking small. She's thinking, I got to get this message out there. So be it, and so she does. So I just want to close here to ask yourself very, very sincerely to invest your thoughts this week on what are your self-imposed limitations, what is restricting you subconsciously, and what is that self-sabotaging inner dialogue, that monkey mind that lets you dance around and never get anywhere. What is inhibiting you? And ask yourself and state that claim that you want to be a conduit of this divine abundance. Simon, in closing, says, if you suspect that you are imposing limits on your own abundance because of a sense of unworthiness, shift your focus from what you want to possess to how you can express your energy and creativity in the world. The symbols of abundance, a house, a car, jewelry, will bring waves of delight, but do not sacrifice the ocean. Do not sacrifice the ocean for a few transient waves. Commit to life, overflowing with abundance, love, compassion, creativity, and meaning. These are the symbols. As you align with those, they will chase after you. So going back to Steve Jobs, my question to you is, what would be in your brown box the moment you wanted to give a gift, an eternal gift, as you left this world as you know it? What would be in your brown box? Take a moment to breathe. I respect your listening. Each one of us, a divine conduit of God's way. And we recognize there are truths in principle, in the creative law. It is done unto us as we believe. So we align ourselves right here and now with the wholeness of God, the wholeness of the divine. And we allow ourselves to operate and to be energized from this place inside of our heart where our soul beams out into our world a greater understanding, a greater givingness, a greater forgiveness, a greater truth. We walk our talk, and we align ourselves with the divine principles that our soul is forever reminding us as to who we are. So I give thanks for the privilege to just offer the wisdom of Steve Jobs, Paramahansa Yogananda, Dr. Simon, people that have long ago left this world as we know it, but their truth continues to sing loudly in our hearts and to guide us into right action, into right thinking, and we prosper at every breath. So as I release this treatment, I recognize that as we enter this season of giving and receiving, we stay in harmony and in balance, and we allow that which we give to be infused with the idea that it is the divine flowing through us. Our money is God in action. Thank you, God, for this truth, for this knowing. And so it is. Thank you.